Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are diving into something that could literally rewrite the day-to-day reality of product management. We're unpacking a really fascinating new announcement from Specky, introducing Alex Research, your AI native PM agent. If you've ever felt like your workflow is completely bogged down by just the sheer mechanics of gathering and sorting user insights, well, this is exactly what we need to be looking at. We're going to break down how this new tool promises to revolutionize the entire research workflow.
So, to start us off, what tasks feel productive but really aren't? If you're a product manager, or honestly anyone involved in building products or strategy, you probably know this feeling all too well. You get to the end of the day, you are completely exhausted, you've been working nonstop. But then you look back and think, wait, did I actually move the strategic needle today, or was I just kind of managing the machinery of my own process? It's a really critical question, because as we'll see, Specky has identified this exact pain point as the primary bottleneck in product development.
Which brings us to the illusion of productivity. Scheduling user interviews, transcribing session notes, categorizing research themes, writing up findings. The thing is, none of these tasks are actual decision-making, right? They're just manual data collection. Pure admin. I mean, they absolutely have to happen, sure, but they drain your energy and they steal precious time away from actual product strategy. Frankly, there is probably nothing that drains the creative energy out of a product team faster than sitting for hours categorizing a soul-crushing spreadsheet of user feedback. You end up doing the busy work of research rather than actually reaping the benefits of it.
And this crucial bottleneck is summarized perfectly by the Specky team. They said, the research loop has always been the bottleneck, which is just such an incredibly validating statement for anyone who builds products. Because to make a confident decision about, say, what feature to ship next, you need signal, you need data, you need qualitative user feedback. But gathering that signal, it is fundamentally slow and notoriously expensive. It creates this massive delay between having an assumption and getting the real-world validation you need to actually act on it. So you're just stuck, waiting on the research loop to finish.
Section 1. Meet Alex, the AI native PM agent. So what exactly is it? Well, Alex Research is an AI agent built directly into Specky. But it's really important to note here, this is not just some generic chatbot. It actually conducts structured user research sessions on your behalf, synthesizes those findings, and writes them directly into your workspace. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's effectively like having this tireless researcher on your team who just runs while you sleep, interviewing user segments you would never personally have the hours in the day to reach, and pulling out the exact insights you need without you having to lift a single finger.
The workflow itself is designed to be remarkably simple, and it breaks down into 3 straightforward steps. First, you talk to Alex directly. You can ask it to explore a specific topic, challenge your current product assumptions, or honestly, even just help you prep for your own upcoming discovery sessions. Second, you deploy interview campaigns. So you literally send Alex out to a designated segment of your users to run structured interviews at scale. And finally, step 3, you just review the synthesized findings.
Now that third step brings us to a really key feature. Every single session produces a summary that is automatically tagged. Remember that illusion of productivity we talked about earlier? The hours spent categorizing and highlighting endless transcripts? Well, that tedious busy work is instantly and automatically handled right after a campaign concludes. You completely skip the transcription phase, you skip the manual highlighting, and you go straight to the synthesized meaning of the conversation. So where exactly does all this synthesized data actually go? Well, it feeds right into what Specky calls the product graph. This is essentially the living knowledge base that powers everything else in the Specky environment. Think of it as the central nervous system of your workspace. So unlike scattered Google Docs or siloed feedback forms, this means the insights Alex gathers are instantly cross-referenced. Alex isn't just spitting out standalone text documents that are going to get lost in some folder. It's actively weaving these structured, tagged user insights directly into the fabric of your product's underlying data model.
Section 2. The paradigm shift, collecting versus deciding.
We're really looking at a broader philosophical shift here in how product management should actually be done at its core. It comes down to collecting signal versus synthesizing and deciding. This explainer isn't just about a cool new software feature. The source material makes a very powerful observation. The absolute best PMs spend their time synthesizing and deciding, not collecting. If Alex is handling the slow, expensive, manual work of collecting the signal, well, your role elevates entirely. You're no longer the bottleneck in the process. You become the editor, the strategist, the decision maker. You are finally working on the product strategy rather than getting stuck inside the research machinery.
And with all that newly freed up time, you can finally focus on high-leverage strategic work. Drawing directly from Specky's own guides on AI-native product development, we see a massive shift. With the research loop automated, you can actually focus on assumption mapping, surfacing those load-bearing, unproven bets before you waste a whole quarter building the wrong thing. You actually have the bandwidth to run a pre-mortem, assuming a launch failed and asking why, to surface hidden risks that confident planning meetings always seem to miss. Or you can rigorously focus on achieving product-market fit using real metrics like the Sean Ellis 40% test and PMF engines rather than just guessing. This is the strategic work that absolutely dictates success or failure.
So, how do you actually get your hands on this? Getting started is actually very straightforward. It is available today on all Specky plans. Simply open your workspace, look for the Alex Research View right there in the sidebar, and you can just start a conversation. And as an incredibly helpful bonus, your first interview campaign is completely free, which is great because it allows you to test out its capabilities and see that synthesis for yourself right away. Which brings us to our final thought. If you didn't have to collect the signal, what decisions would you make today? Honestly, if the bottleneck was just completely removed from your workflow, how much faster could your team move? I really want to challenge you to rethink your daily habits. Are you currently trapped in that illusion of productivity, or are you doing the high-impact work of deciding? It's a fascinating and absolutely vital shift in the landscape of product development. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll leave you to ponder that question.